What's a man to a king? What's to the saying? Advancing the line, advancing the payment. You from the game and shoot what said as you claim it. It's that Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talker, no riddling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That much making a portrait. Gun kick back, not grannies from porches. David on the scene, you know that it's scorching. What's a man to a king? What's to the saying? Advancing the line, advancing the payment. You from the game and shoot what said as you claim it.
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted, this what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. Now, we had some outages yesterday. We had some advertisements, and I'm going to get into how things correlate and are one. We also have a piece of tech that is going away from us. We have some games launching inside Gamepass, and we're going to talk about the industry as a whole. It may have looked like it was light on news today, but actually it was more robust than you think. Shout out to Square, shout out to Kojima. We're going to talk about those two, well, Kojima is his own, like Kojima Productions is his own company, and Square, their own company. But I'm particularly talking about Yoshi P and Hideki Kojima. So, we're going to talk about those two individuals and what they want to do when it comes to Xbox and Xbox Frontline News. Yo, if it's your first time finding the channel, like, follow, and subscribe. We're going to get into these topics. I hope you like the new format. Talk to me. Tell me what's up. If I'm not your favorite, I want to know why. And show me with facts. So what we see here right now is Yoshi P says Xbox players should not give up on, Final Fantasy 16 making it to the Xbox platform. And, for a long time, I've said that it was one of the bright spots that I felt that was on the PlayStation 5. And the PlayStation 4 user base never got a chance to interact with the game. The game did not sell as well as it's indicated in this article on the PlayStation 5 platform. But it was supposed to release day and date with the PlayStation 5 and the PC. So the PC just got released last month. The PC version just got released last month of Final Fantasy 16. And I thought that it would be at the Tokyo Game Show. I had hoped it would be at the Tokyo Game Show. Not saying that, a third-party title makes an Xbox show, and something fantastic. No, it was more, I want the fan base to have access to that game. It's a really cool game for me, in my opinion. So Yoshi P shares my sentiment. And a lot of talk and a lot of chatter in the background was that the game is in development. And, in all intents and purposes, I believe that it's contract bound for stuff that he has to say, because he told the Xbox community in this article, do not give up hope of it coming to the platform. It's not a zero chance that it's coming. Now, that could be spin talk and it could be something else. But like I told you before, I was hearing a lot of times that the game was coming. I don't know what is the technical hurdle for the game. And I know a lot of people is going to twist it in a manner to fit their narrative. And they might say that the technical hurdle is the Series S. Whatever the case may be, they didn't make it for the PlayStation 4 because they wanted to utilize some aspects of the PlayStation 5 that is specifically native to that base. And as you saw when it made it to PC, the PC was a pretty decent port from all accounts of the game. We got to find out the sales numbers of that. But Square, as indicated by Yoshi P and the higher ups, they do want to make sure that they adopt a real, true third-party banner in which games aren't exclusively tied to console or console manufacturer and one platform, because that, like I told you before, is not cost effective. These things are indicated by financials and how we see the industry. So again, read an article, and this isn't just one article that I read on the subject matter. This is probably the most unbiased article that I've read on the subject matter, and I highly tell you, go read it at WCCF Tech. Amy Eastland did this article, so I highly recommend you read the article, check the article out for what the article is, and at the same time, they are talking about that, PC got the remake, Integrate, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy 16, and Rebirth most likely is heading and being ported over to the PC. The Xbox versions will come. I see Xbox making great strides in the land of the rising sun, and especially with Square, because they understand exactly what Square wants and needs, and to have a larger profile and a larger foot in order to make greater gains when it comes to shareholders. This is a different age we're in, and the age of the exclusive is kind of seeing the way of the dinosaur, and especially third-party exclusive. That should be null and void, to be honest with you. And I know that is counterintuitive to what we have been trained to see the marketplace over the years, but at the same time, business supersedes checklists. And when your games is checklist onto another platform for short-term money instead of long-term game, that is not viable in this industry, and especially to a company that is looking for long-term growth. It kind of stagnates your growth, it limits your reach, and as a third-party company, limiting your reach is tantamount of cutting your nose to spite your face. Those things should not ever permeate your ecosystem. Your ecosystem should be bulletproof when it comes to matters such as that. That should be an absolute no as far as getting a game exclusive to the platform, i.e. metaphor. Microsoft has the marketing rights, but it is not exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. The game will be released date and date on all platforms, except the Switch, because it doesn't do it technically. It cannot achieve that level of fidelity and, graphical powers pushing it through the CPU is not, can't afford to do it. But that game would reach a larger fan base, and it will garner more industry eyes. So your video game vocabulary and language that you have with other individuals is actually broader. So when you do talk to a PlayStation owner, you do have the same conversation. So that in lies the connectivity between all of us. Remember, at the same time, we're all gamers. These guys is businesses. And if they want to continue to grow their fan base, their franchises, they must break down those barriers that exclude certain fan bases from experiencing their product. Product is key. If you're not manufacturing, making it, and distributing, what are you doing as a third-party distributor? I'm just saying, K&N News, we outside, we making it happen. Here's another article that I ran into on my search for the greater insight in how Xbox goes about partnering with different developers, gaining and tracking data, and how they proceed with facilitating an easier pathway for developers to get their wares onto the Xbox platform. And Xbox Research was developed and expanded on in order to facilitate those things a whole lot better. So Xbox Research has expanded to include developers and partners with product teams to provide data insights to improve the tools and services. And I always told people that the tool sets and their services was probably the barrier that prevented them from gaining traction in certain areas. All right, so the objective for the expansion is to obtain data and address the pain points and enhance the experience of partners across the spectrum of disciplines involving bringing games to market in the blog post. Microsoft's division has been conducting gaming research for over 2 decades. And I know you said they've been working really hard at this, King. I've heard this all the time. Well, this is specifically made to address said pain points. Those pain points, if even for you, those are pain points. But could you imagine a $3 trillion company trying to figure out why their video game division doesn't have the same amount of access to gamers as a $1 billion company? That should not be the case. So it takes a greater insight and a willingness to try to figure out exactly what you're doing wrong and what the competition is doing right in order to get those games to your console. And if it's a tool set like, Capcom with the MC framework, that stuff is something that you have to understand. What is the barrier? What you want to do is remove as much excuses as possible to allow these products to reach your platform at the same time in order to have equal footing in competition. Competition is key when it comes to our market. Our market is necessary. Competition is necessary in our market. If not, and one gets to run ripshot, you see prices like the PlayStation 5 Pro at $700 and, different things happening in the marketplace that changes the perspective on how video games is looked at. Then you have one as a dominant. When you have one as a dominant, it has a cascading effect, an overall effect in the industry. So the methodologies used to collect the data will mirror those of previously used in other studies and players. It will open up to all developers, including those who don't release on the Xbox. They want to hear from everyone. They want to know, and like I ask you guys all the time, if I'm not your favorite content creator, I will love to know why not. Right? So I can improve on those things that makes you say, well, he's not my favorite. Because if you're not trying to be number one in any market, then you're the first loser. Everybody wants to be the winner. Well, at least that should be your goal. We want to hear from everyone who works on games and help support game studios, because if we can make our life easier, it makes gaming better, said the principal user, Deborah Henderson. If you're making video games, we're interested in hearing from you. If you aren't on Xbox, we'll love to know why. And if you're using our competitors' products, you'll probably have a great perspective that they can learn from. See, knowing thy enemy actually fortifies and strengthens your weaknesses, because you know the areas in which you are deficient. And the only way that you learn from that is by hearing how the competition works better with others. So like I said, you will see this format change over numerous times, because until I hit the proper chord with our demographic, with our team base, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to innovate, change, and try to make things better. And I just thought Xbox research is a great step in the right direction. They are on the good things, despite what everyone wants you to believe.
I must break you.
So I see the conversation going around, and article from Games Industries, the .biz, and this was brought to me by Stephanie McCoy, staff writer. So I saw the conversation surrounding the HoloLens. I remember when the HoloLens was introduced. Well, the HoloLens 2 came out in 2019. I would dare to say that 2016, I got a chance to use the first HoloLens. It was a kind of a marvel in the space of VR. That's when VR was probably close to a little bit into its baby legs. And, from all the VR headsets and stuff that I did have before that, with the PlayStation 1 VR, and then when I got a chance to use the HoloLens, it wasn't marketed as a VR. It was a mixed reality. And in using it, I found that it was supremely dynamic, way more flexible, and way more robust than any one single VR could be. And I said, because it was like this Halo thing that they had set up, and they had from Kanye West to Snoop Dogg, everybody, we was all there. And it was a wonderful experience. Sorry again. It was a wonderful experience in seeing that. So it's with great displeasure that I have to report that, Microsoft has discontinued the HoloLens 2 with no replacement plan. Now, remember those cuts back in June that Microsoft had? Well, one of the divisions that they did cut from was from the mixed reality division. After they made those cuts in the mixed reality division, the writing was pretty much on the wall. All right. So a lot of times you don't know exactly where these cuts are coming from. But again, this tech isn't really made for consumer. Right? They did have a consumer-friendly device. That device cost $5,000. Now, is that a consumer-friendly market price? No, it isn't. It was technically made for hospitalizations and militarizations. Well, Microsoft did say that, they will continue to give updates and address critical security issues until the cutoff point. And then after the cutoff point, there's nothing else that's going to be happening with it. But Microsoft clarified they will remain fully committed to the militarization HoloLens, the IVAS, which is planned to be tested by the U.S. Army in early 2025. So what you're seeing here is not a closure of the HoloLens. No, they got a military contract to facilitate the high cost of the industrial version of the HoloLens 2. So HoloLens 3 will never make it to market, but the HoloLens 3 prototype will go on for military usage and further contracts with the military. So this is not the end of HoloLens. Actually, it's the beginning of a bigger, better, brighter, robust HoloLens that the consumer base can never afford. This was never a device made for mass market consumption. It was a beyond niche. It was, it's like caviar, So you have to realize this wasn't ever intended to be in mass market consumption. So anyone cheering, because I saw a couple of people in posts cheering that it was being discontinued. Ignorance is bliss. And sometimes you have to let people stay in their ignorance and allow them to be blissfully stupid. Not knowing that this thing was never marketed, maintained, or used for those reasons. It was definitely used for medical, and it was definitely used for military. I think the military outbid the medical. They probably still have some medical things because I know for a fact that the Kinect is still used and sold to hospitals, and they use those cameras and those readings from the Kinect 2 to see deeper into patients. So again, when we see something leave Microsoft or Xbox, you never know exactly what happened and why it did that. I saw guys talking about, I love my Microsoft phone, not knowing that it's a militarized version of the Microsoft phone that they use that is off the grid, that has the VPN. It's an untrackable phone. That's what happened to your Microsoft phone. It turned into an untrackable phone that you can use off the grid, that is not made for mass market consumption. Again, you have to realize sometimes when something is failing in the marketplace, It was a test bed for greater things. And if it's already a saturated marketplace with Galaxy taking up the most of the share and iPhone eating up the second half of the share, then you have to realize there was no place for a third entrance in that. And if you weren't satisfied with that, you had to diversify and become greater than. So this is not the end of the HoloLens as a unit. It's actually the beginning of the militarization of the HoloLens. And that is kind of scary. Are we really moving towards the Call of Duties that we've seen, those future games in Call of Duty where dudes has AR headsets? Could you imagine you're in the field with a lightweight HoloLens with a Supreme lithium battery pack that can actually see things before you see things, that you can put overlays on so you're truly are like Tony Stark when it comes to pulling out your cannons? Now, I saw a couple of things, right? And through military exercises, they do have backpacks with shoulder cannons and stuff like that. We are actually in the age where if you can conceive it, you can achieve it. And that level of technology in the hands of said soldiers, because we're talking about militarization, that gives them an uncanny edge in the battlefield. So again, this isn't the end for HoloLens. It's just the end of releasing it to mass market to say. You weren't buying it for $5,000 regardless. I wasn't. I never had a HoloLens, but I do have an Oculus Pro. That's the difference. Well, okay, so Bethesda tried to hype this up to just fall short. Starfield Shattered Space DLC opens to mixed Steam and Xbox reviews despite the new handcrafted world. I would love to hear in the comments below if you got a chance to play the new Shattered Space and what was your opinion on what happened. From the body of the article, Brandon Lowry from Windows Central, they said, well, the expansion released on Xbox Series X and as a Windows PC on September 30th, though so far it's open to mixed reviews, with Steam and an average score of 3.65 out of 5 stars on Xbox at the Microsoft Store. The reviewers appreciated the Shattered Space is centered on one localized planet. It allows for some deeper role-playing compared to the ocean-sized base of the game, though many lament the paltry amount of overall content. And the overall sentiment from what I'm getting here, regardless of what, let me give you the Steam reporting. About 42% of its 730 users reviewing it gave it a positive thumbs up. So you also got to remember, not every time somebody uses something on Steam do they give a report back on what the games is. I use Steam all the time, and I don't think I've ever put a review up. But at the same time, you have to realize Shattered Space itself didn't have as much content as individuals wanted. Yes, they wanted that isolated, handcrafted content. Check mark. They did want to have a deeper storyline when it came to House of Varun because it was never flushed out. Check mark. But also a minus when it comes to that because they felt that should have been initially in the base game. That storyline is like another quest line. And it seems like from all accounts and purposes that it's only a 4-hour expansion. For $30, I can understand exactly why you would get vilified for $30 worth of content and it isn't up to snuff when it comes to hours. That is a kind of a issue. Right. So again, I got the Constellation Edition. So this stuff is included in it. I think the whole gearing towards purchasing the game was to have everybody push towards the Constellation Edition. And then you would have never felt the sting of the $30 DLC. Right. Again, apples and oranges. If it was more of your jam, if Shattered Space was more of what you wanted when it came to Starfield, more of a good thing should not be a bad thing. It has to be curated and planned out for you. Like you can see right here. He says players report that the main story can be completed in 4 or 5 hours. Engaging with side activities to get all the DLC's new achievements will only take a few more to do. Compared to something like Far Harbor expansion from Bethesda's own Fallout 4, which had 7 to 8 hours narrative and a little over 20 hours worth of stuff for completionists to dig into. That sounds pretty disappointing, though I note that I haven't played Shattered Space herself and can't offer her own opinion. I myself feel at a loss the same way that she is. Just because you didn't partake completely doesn't mean that you can't give your perspective on what you're reading about. Again, I will probably get a chance to dig into Shattered Space, but I want to know in the comments, did you get a chance to play it? I saw Lord Attic playing it on Lord Attic's Arena, and I stopped watching because, again, I don't want to spoil my interactions with seeing stuff ahead of time. I guess that's something isolated to my generation because individuals like to watch people play games all the time. That's not my jam. My jam is to have my experiences as my own and report back to you guys on how I feel about things personally. So, again, Shattered Space, is it a yay or is it a nay? Have you had a chance to play it? And what is your gripes, if you have any gripes with it? Is it the short amount of content for the price? Because it will round out to, if it's 5 hours, then it's like something like $6 an hour. Is that something that you're interested in? Or do you feel that you should have had 20 hours of gameplay for that price to make it something like $2 an hour? I guess now we're looking at expansions and stuff like that in that manner. What is your hourly rate based upon price? Does it fit the price? Does that happen? We got to see. I mean, that's a conversation, and I do want to have that conversation with you guys. I do like to hear if you're displeased with something or if you're pleased with something. Please let it be known. It allows other people to get a greater insight on how you viewed it, and maybe they might share your same opinion. You never know who's reading the comments. Microsoft could be reading the comments.
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.
You never go full Kojima. Shout out to Slow Mo Backslap that has coined that phrase. Now, in lieu of everybody's feelings towards Hideki Kojima, there is either you're a Rabbit fan or you're a Rabbit hater. He has polarizing viewpoints, and I'm telling you, he's one of the guys, when you walk into the realm and you see him, you're going to either love him or hate him. But Hideki Kojima is a one-of-a-kind commodity that our industry needs and we need to protect. So Kojima shares an update about Xbox exclusive horror game, OD. He said, now, it's a bit risky. And what he means by that is, in the interview, he said, at the same time, I wanted to do something that wasn't Death Stranding. So I teamed up with Microsoft to create OD. This is a game, but it's a game like no other. I can't go into too much detail. It's also hard to explain. It's a bit risky and a new challenge for me within the realm of video games. Now, like the tagline of the game is for all players and screamers. So people do kind of expect it to be like a horror game, and I don't know what to expect from this game. I don't know. I saw the faces of the individuals and the technology that is being used. I'm trying to figure out what's the technology that is being used. You see the voices, the faces, you can read horror, anger, expression on the characters. And I think that is where the game is going to shine, because I guess they want you to see the characters' faces to convey that horror, fear, disgust, anxiety through the subtleties of the human face. All the muscles on the human face right now, he must have the technology in order to achieve this. Do you see the terror in the eyes, the quiver, the lips, the nose, the mouth, the ears? And this is just the basis of which how he's bringing the game forth to convey these emotions, that pure terror that you saw there is something that I don't think has been delved into in video games. Also, that trailer was brought to you with the technology used in MetaHuman, a hyper-realistic engine that conveys the human physiology in the game. It's crazy. So Kojima has partnered up with Jordan Peele for the upcoming game. Over the last few years, Peele has been associated with multiple horror movies like Get Out, Us, and Nope. Kojima said that he appreciated Peele's Nope, which led to both of them working together on OD. He was a fan of Jordan, he said. He went to go see Nope, and at the time I was doing a podcast on Spotify, and I did an episode on Nope and found out that Jordan Peele was a fan of mine. So we set up a Zoom call. He's younger than me, and we are not in the same generation, but after 5 minutes of chatting, he felt like a childhood friend. This happens quite often, actually, when a person's thought process or brain structure is similar to mine. But anyway, we decided to meet in Los Angeles. After several meetings in LA, we talked about projects each of us was working on, and I explained the concept of OD to him, and he was really interested in it, and I asked him if he wanted to join in and add on. I also believe that Guillermo del Toro is part of this project as well. I don't know how the project is coming along, but little bits and pieces of OD is starting to seep through. Now, I know this article didn't have too much meat to extrapolate from, but anything that we can get from Kojima right before he releases Death Stranding 2 on the next project that he's releasing, especially as an Xbox-centric channel, I definitely want to bring that to you. So give me your thoughts on OD. Is it a mistake for Microsoft to actually help fund this project with Kojima, or is it pure genius in getting Kojima's next new project that will launch on the Xbox platform and probably go on to see greater heights as far as transmedia goes, as bringing it to books, bringing it to movies, bringing it to video games? We don't know what the future holds for this game, but if he has high praise with it and the concepts that was in Death Stranding 2 that you get the chance to see play out over a period of time, maybe these concepts that he brings forth here will have that same transcending futuristic approach. Kojima is always ahead of his time. So I want to know, did they allow Kojima to go full Kojima? Shout out to Slow Mo Baslap. Or did they hold the reins on Kojima and we got half measure Kojima?
You know, and I'm not judging you, but I'm just saying everybody else is gonna.
So for the previous Game of the Year winner, Baldur's Gate 3, new update brings mods to Xbox for the first time. Today marks a massive milestone in Baldur's Gate 3 on the Xbox Series S and X. The patch 7, which is officially rolling out on 2 consoles, and it means that we're getting mods on console for the first time. Yes, the in-game mod manager has been implemented in the Xbox version as of today, allowing you to download various tools to customize your game. The differences between console and PC is that only certain mods will be available on console, and they'll be released in batches over time. Here's a bit more about it that they're talking about. There are currently like 69 mods that have passed internal testings on console, and we'll be adding more as we go. Making mods available on the platform other than the PC will be continuously reviewing process, which may change to include additional functionality in the future. Mods ready for both the Mac and the console have passed testing and will be released in batches. So keep an eye out on your game or your in-game mod browser to see when new mods are available. Good. All I can say is good. I never finished this game, definitely wanted to. Listen, I don't got time to be sitting there playing. And I'm not gonna call every game that is a hard game, pause, a Souls-like game, but I am gonna tell you, bro. Lord Addict, and I found out that when you play with other people, it ramps up the difficulty immensely. That should be stated, bro. So at the same time, I would rather play with mods to get me to finish this game. I am not going to lie. I'm not going to be a fraud. I did not fall in love with the game as much as everybody else did. Was it robust? Do I understand why you can? Do I love the voice acting? Do I love the turn base of it? Yes, all of that stuff applies. I guess maybe at the time it was so many different things that was out. I do want to know in the comments how you felt about Baldur's Gate 3. For some people, it was justified for their game of year. For myself, I don't think it was justified. I forgot what I cared for and what I voted for that year. But again, will the mods bring you back to playing the game once you have already finished it? Or are you like myself? You started it, never finished it, and now the mods might get you to complete it. Is this something that interests you? Them bringing mods to consoles. It does modding in consoles add longevity to the legs of the game for you? Is that essential for RPGs going forward? Allowing you, because I've seen some of the best RPGs like Skyrim and Morrowind and stuff like that. Those games allow for modding, and those communities become more robust. So again, just want to hear your opinion on it. I saw it hit the deck, and for me, myself, anything that can help me in this game is greatly appreciated, because I'm going to tell you, there was a battle scene with those damn orcs that was pissing me the hell off. If you saw me in Attic when we were streaming it, I wanted to break my controller. I wanted to throw my controller numerous times. So again, if I could play without adding the extra difficulty of Attic and actually get some stuff done, it's only a better thing. But it's a game I do have in my backlog, and from so many hours and so much time in that game, a backlog is chasing me down, and hopefully these mods allow me to catch up to it. What I've noticed that some of the highlights of October Game Pass release is Sifu. I'm going to tell you to play Sifu, to get Sifu as soon as you can. And when is it available? New games coming to Xbox Game Pass October. MLB The Show, shout out to Sony for being a third-party distributor. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know how we do it over here. We're going to run it up on them bumps. I'm going to keep my boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. Open Roads, October 2nd. And Sifu, tomorrow. Mad Streets, October 7th. And October 10th, Inscription. So, listen, if you're a baseball fan, baseball season is going on, you're gearing up for the World Series and all that other stuff, there you go, MLB The Show. Shout out to Sony. Thank you for doing your job. But Sifu tomorrow. Play it. I'm into all old school karate flicks. I'm into Game of Death. This is Game of Death. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like I took over the persona of Bruce Lee, that he made it into the ability to get to old age. Rest in power, King. I'm a huge karate buff fan, growing up kind of person. And Sifu always, technically to me, embodies that whole multi-angle attack system, kicking chairs, breaking bottles, grabbing sticks, fighting. It was just the flow of the game. It had an unprecedented amount of access when it came to the fighting capabilities, the fighting genre. I think it was in a category of fighting game of the year that year, which was a controversy because it's more of a beat 'em up instead of a fighting game. But I can understand how someone that is a novice in respects to the genre can to say that, because the game is a fighter, but it's a beat 'em up. And a lot of people that didn't grow up on side scrolling beat 'em ups or understand how the game of death works, this is not Street Fighter, this is not Mortal Kombat, this is not King of the Fighters. This is more like a Final Fight, Capcom side scrolling beat 'em up game in 3D that harnesses that 8-directional kind of feel to it, that you could be attacked from every which angle. And then it does have like side scrolling boards that are limited and to keep you going from left to right. It has so much to it, so many layers. To see it go inside Game Pass, it's dope to see. Go check it out if you've never checked it out, and if you're a fan of beat 'em ups, not fighting games, don't get fooled by that. But if you're a fan of beat 'em ups, I highly recommend Sifu. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you played it, finish it. I got stuck on this one boss that I just kept aging. The concept behind Sifu is when you die, you age a little bit, but you gain the knowledge that you had, right? You keep the knowledge that you had, and then you start again. And, when you die, you get older. Supposedly, by the time you're a gray beard like myself, you are a supreme master. But at what cost? Is your health super low and your fighting style so robust that you can one punch people, like a 1-inch punch? Tell me your experiences with your playthrough and see if we have experienced similar things when it came to Sifu. I truly admire making this game in this day and age and being fearless in doing so. The individuals had to have a complete love of old 90s karate films and bringing that to the marketplace now, where it was definitely a void for this type of game. Brought to you by Politico. PlayStation Network restores services after a lengthy outage. 8 hours to be exact. Imagine, if you will, you buy a console, which is always online, and to play your games, you need to have access, and your console service networks is down. Horror, fright. You only had a little bit of time. You didn't have enough time to play all day. The time that you had allotted for your video game, your hobby, has now been usurped by outage. Shame, travesty. Welcome to the life of a Sony player, a pony, if you will. Welcome to the life of poor security. But I digress. No, I'm just saying. No, PlayStation Network was back online after significant disruption that affected users across multiple platforms. The PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 4, alongside other users of older consoles. This wasn't just isolated to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita, every console was affected by this outage. They experienced difficulties in signing in and playing games. After approximately 8 hours of downtime, the PlayStation Network status now indicates the most services are operational. However, some players are still facing connectivity issues. They don't know what happened, what caused the outage. Social media went crazy trying to figure out, does everybody have that problem? When my video went live last night, people was explaining to me that PlayStation Network was down, and my response was that how typical. Usually every time I turn around, that the PlayStation Network was down. The status of the PlayStation updates. The official PlayStation Network status page eventually updated to reflect the outage. At first, the page stated that all services was up and running. However, Tuesday morning, the PlayStation Network services showed ongoing issues in game and streaming section. You might have difficulty launching games, apps, and network features. We're working to resolve the issue as soon as possible. Thank you for your patience. The lingering message left some users wondering, will PlayStation Network be back up? While most services have been restored, sporadic issues remain, especially for those trying to use communication features. Players who are still experiencing problems continue to search. Is PlayStation Network down right now? Now, the impact on gamers. This is more significant to anything else. The 8-hour disruption prevented players from signing into their accounts, playing multiplayer games, or accessing certain apps. The PlayStation 5 servers down situation created a ripple effect across the gaming community. Players who tried to log in were met with error messages, which indicated the PlayStation Network is currently busy. The situation left many wondering, are the servers down? The problem also spread to social media, with users frequently searching PlayStation Network status on Twitter. Listen, these things are commonplace when it comes to the PlayStation, to be honest with you. And I'm pretty sure that, Xbox goes down. I can probably count on my hand and leave off fingers how many times it was down during this generation of me playing. I'm trying to actually figure it out. I remember like one time specifically, I had time set off to play a game. But in this ever-increasing world in which time is becoming a premium and video games hobbying is becoming a little bit more scheduled programming for yourself, this is unexcusable. And I'm not just saying that it's unexcusable because it happened to the PlayStation. I'm saying it's unexcusable as a gamer. Anytime us gamers do adult gamers get a chance to set aside time in order to game, we want that time to go through with no interruptions. Usually the wife and the kids are out. You have some time to yourself. You allotted this time. You got time off from work, or you just scheduled. I just got to get a couple of sessions in, and it doesn't go according to plan. It's not your fault. It's somebody else's fault. And we get more angrier when things that we plan to do go awry based on others, not yourself. See, we can deal with things when it's our issue, but when it's issues brought to us from others, that's when the issue takes on a cascading, devastating effect, a larger range of emotions, things that's out of your control. But again, let me know, how did it affect you as a PlayStation user? We have a lot of PlayStation guys that frequent my channel. Even though this is an Xbox-centric channel, you are welcome here. And I do appreciate your feedback. How did you game yesterday? 8 hours down, how did it happen for you? I didn't notice the problem because yesterday I used another account to get another PlayStation 5 Pro. So now my total is up to 4 PlayStation 5 Pros. I do want to know how many of you got a PlayStation 5 Pro. Was you able to log in? Was that service down? Did this have to do with them pushing ads on the whole PlayStation network all at one time, and then seeing the feedback of doing so and having to automatically rip it out of the PlayStation network with little to no warning? Did that cause the outage? Because me personally, the two look like they're linked together. Bad press for Sony seems to go hand in hand lately. This isn't the Sony we know. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know how it is. We're going to run it up on these bumps. But at the same time, how's your security? I hope you have 2-password authenticity to make sure that you're warned when your situation has gone left when it comes to your PlayStation. Don't trust those dudes with your information. Put on two-factor on your phone now. I suggest it highly.
You sit on a throne of lies.
And what can be only viewed as BS at the highest form in corporate speak. Sony PlayStation 5 game screen changes are a bug, says Sony. Absolute BS. Had it been no backlash, had no kickback, every major and minor outlet screamed in unison, this is not it. You've never had that level of backlash, and you ripped it out. But let's go on to explain what I'm talking about if you didn't get a chance to experience it because your PlayStation was down at this time. Remember the two. Remember what I said. Users saw new promos in the game updates, even ads for other titles instead of the title screen art in their PlayStation 5 game libraries after a software update. The change to the PlayStation 5 players noticed that the cause of the promos for the YouTube videos, game ads, and patch information to display on the PlayStation 5 game title screen was a bug. It was being fixed, the company said late Monday. Players scrolling through the game library noticed a major change to the game system's interface. Gone was the home screen art in which you hovered over a game title. Replacing it was the patch information, new updates, and in some cases, advertisements for other games from the same publisher. Now, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say you got a Naughty Dog game. You have Nathan Drake. And then you see, when you hover over it, you see The Last of Us 2, The Last of Us remake. Don't you think that is something that is more in line with the intentional opposed to the accidental? Doesn't this excuse reek of something that you posted that you shouldn't have, and you you've got extreme backlash, and you yelled out, "I was hacked"? This screams to me of "I was hacked" energy. A September update for the PlayStation 5 operating system appeared to have changed the way the game title screen displays. As a number of gaming sites pointed out, CNET confirmed on several titles with the PlayStation 5, art from each game was swapped out with information apparently pulled from each game's news feed. But the problem wasn't intentional, said Sony. It's never intentional, right, Sony? Instead, it was a bug that the company said already's been fixed. And as of some writing on the titles on the PlayStation 5, we tried with Star Wars Outlaws, have reverted back to its original state. A tech error with the official news feature on the PlayStation 5 console since has been removed. There have been no changes to the way the game news is displayed on the PlayStation 5. This followed up a since-deleted post by Sony product manager Daniel Hyatt advising PlayStation owners everybody settle down, is just a new bug with existing feature. You scrub your tweet to hide the facts. The internet never forgets, it always remembers. I'm telling you, they will continue to try to do things. I explained to you what was the next step. If the uproar wasn't too loud, and this is the first time I got to give kudos to the media, large and small, to the gaming community, big and tall. If you have a large voice, if you don't have one at all, I gotta give respect to you guys for standing tall, because this is the point where if you don't stand up for something, you will fall for everything. And I've told you guys before, we gotta use our voice. You guys stood up, used your voice, fought back, and push back on this. Be it intentional or not, be it a bug or be it an intent, it has been repealed, replaced, and pushed back. And I appreciate you guys for fighting as hard as you did, because this I told you what was next, what was going to happen. What was going to happen was they was going to offer you an ad-free version of your dashboard that you get automatically. They was going to offer you for that for free for the minor inconvenience that you do have when you see ads. You don't remember when streaming networks were giving you the streams and then all of a sudden they added an ad tier and then like the base form was ads? Something that you got initially had no ads, then automatically one day you went in and then it had ads. But then they came with a tier and a higher bracket for pay that allowed you to get back to your original state that had no ads. But now that original state is no longer there. That original state is the base state, which has ads. And now you can pay for the premium part of this service where it's ad free. I'm pretty sure Sony was heading down this way and y'all fought back. Kudos. I also saw somebody put in the comments, the whole Xbox dashboard is an app. Tell me you don't use Xbox without telling me you don't use Xbox. There's always a small advertisement on one tile that's on your Xbox dashboard that is never intrusive, never bothersome, doesn't affect your gameplay at all. And if you're talking about the pop-up screen that announces a game that's going to show up right there that you can click one button and move it out of the way, that's something totally different from a video. It's indication of if you do have a video game. Is it something that's intrusive for most? Pretty sure. But I also know it's not as egregious as this was. All right? This was preparing you for something else that was more nefarious and more diabolical in its procedure. Had you fell for this, I'm pretty sure that there would be an ad-free tier in your PlayStation user interface that they will actually try to monetize. Thank you guys for fighting back. I do appreciate each and every last one of you who stood tall, 10 toes down, who's part of the Xbox front line. Even if you're a Sony pony, we do need the cavalry. So ride out, jump on your pony's back, pause, and take them to the fight.
None of it's true. None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lied.
Silent Hill introduces a new character. The new episode of PlayStation Underground compares the 2001 original gameplay with the upcoming one that's coming out on October 8th. Now I want to know who's going to be playing this. I probably might be streaming this this horror game. Again, I do have a backlog, and new shiny thing always overrides old games that you do have there, right? So let me see if I can up-res that to 4K. Yeah, because I can't stand it being what it is. Now, this is the old version of the game, the first version of the game. And it was horrifying to me. I always felt like they took a peek into my psychosis when it came to Silent Hill. Silent Hill was always one of those Konami franchises. And this is the reason why I picked Konami as one of my all-time developers. And I know they fell off over the years, but it doesn't take away from what they were able to bring to market when it came to their games. I always felt that Konami games always hit a certain chord with their fan base, and Silent Hill is no different. Now, for the Xbox fan base, I'm going to tell you right now, you either have to get down or lay down. You either have to have your emulation game up, or you're going to have to, bite the bullet and pick up PlayStation 5. Now, I know with that being said, I don't give a damn. I already got a PlayStation 5, and I got PlayStation 5 Pro showing up soon. But what I am telling you is this game is worthy of, if you're a horror fan, if you're a person that, truly lives on the edge of psychosis and you love mysteries, good dialogue, good story, this game is it. It does show you. So now what you're seeing is the earlier version. Let me skip ahead to see if they get to the part where it's more of the newer. Does this look like the newer? Now here's the newer. Now you see that? You see that level of lip sync, those eyes? The game looks crazy. The story is nuts. So you saw the difference between, that's Mary. And early on, you saw how they indicated her before. You see how they indicate her now. I love the animation. I love the eyes. I love the conversation, the stubble. This is brought to you by Bloober Team. I think Bloober Team knows horror very well, so they was perfectly suited to bring the mood of the old game to the new era. This takes me back to getting a game, and I didn't work nights at that time. I was younger. I didn't have a family, and you worked in the daytime. You came home, you played your video games, and I would turn off the lights. Sat there with my Doritos back when Doritos was okay, and I played my game. This scared the bejesus out of me, because this is one of those games where when you stop playing it, it still plays with your mind. When you walk away from it, it still permeates your thoughts, because you're still trying to figure out puzzles and questions to why certain things happen. Why did Mary lock him in that area? What did Mary want him to see? And what is this new monster that Mary is so terrified from, and she tricked him into fighting? What is going on? And let's say you had to end the game there, but you went to sleep and it stayed with you. These are one of the games that is so haunting, so terrifyingly transformative mentally, that it sticks with you. So you see the previous, and I love what they're doing, going from the previous to the present. But again, the game was always a good game, always a great story. And it sucks that the Xbox fan base has to wait until 2025. This is the reason why I say across the boards, I would love to abolish exclusivity when it comes to third-party titles. But again, that's not the world we live in. And as a gamer, I implore you to get to the point financially where you can support multiple ecosystems if you are a true gamer and not just a hobbyist. If you are a true gamer, a hardcore gamer, which you want to game ambidextrously on every platform, you're able to game on PC, you're able to game on PlayStation, you're able to game on Nintendo and Xbox, then your gaming vocabulary extends to everyone and you're never left out of the conversation. I will always implore you to expand your gaming vocabulary, so that way when the PlayStation people are having a conversation, you can be included the same way the PC and the Xbox people are. You're not isolated and siloed into having conversations with only one fan base. You are multilingual in this conversation estate to have these conversations with others. So that's why I can identify with each and every last platform, because I do not silo myself off. I make console war for the Xbox platform, but I'm not console ignorant of other platforms. There's a huge difference in loving something and being absolutely ignorant to something. And ignorance is not knowing. Do not be ignorant. Expand your vocabulary when it comes to your gaming knowledge, so that way you're not perceived as a grifter like a lot of these guys are. And the game that I hate that I can't get away from, Dead by Daylight, my son's favorite game, is back. Doom Dead by Daylight. He has a novel idea. One day we're going to play this what you call it, symmetrical game. But what I'm noticing, this game is adding so much to it. It's kind of kicking me in the chest. Pause. Because all I see is this game adding so much to it. Through my hate of this game, I can't deny that this game isn't doing the absolute most for anybody that's a fan of the genre. That's wild to me. This game must be insanely popular. It's crazy. Now I got to start this properly. Hold on. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is inside Fortnite. The new dimension is here. I got to get my butt on Fortnite. Fortnite creators. Oh my God. Fortnite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, yo, I remember when they dropped Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I got everything. I didn't know if they had the foot soldiers. I don't think they had the foot soldiers. But look at this, man. The devices, the hoverboards. Oh, 150 new props. You get to build your own stuff? I might have to build my own stuff in Fortnite. What? Oh my God. You can create your own Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles islands, just side scrolling beat 'em ups. Oh my God. This has been the greatest video game ever made. Fortnite has officially, it's always been like that for me. That is crazy.
You can feel it, dude! You can feel it! Load the spaceship with the rocket fuel! Load it with the worst!
I ain't gonna hold you. I had to bring you this game. This is probably the most accredited, highly, you know how when you tell somebody, to give me a resume, this guy here from the developers of Skyrim, one of the developers of Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Fallout 76, Starfield, Metroid Prime 3, the game from that movie Grandma's Boy, Monster Hunter, and Folklore. Yo, who the hell are you, bro? Game looks wild, crazy, right? Looks insane. You see everything that's transpiring. What's going on here? What mystical realm is that? What portals is that? Could you imagine if these are a peek into exactly what used to be going on and they're trying to give us an indication of what we've missed? Yo, he blew... What? Explore the vast open world. Did you just... Yo, did he just shoot himself to another area? What is going on? You see the runes on the bow? Each room highlights something different. What is this? Why does he have from harness the power of the elements? Yo, he's shooting wolves and stuff onto the... What is going on here? It's a lot of mysticism, ancient magic. Oh, my mom's would have yelled out, "This is sorcery, get it out of my house." Oh my God. What is that? Heighten your senses. What is that? Biomut? The game has so much intricacies, but the details is insane. The color usage, the particle effects, the world, uncover the secrets of the hunters. Like, I know y'all saying exactly what I'm saying. I hope y'all are intrigued. I'm going to tell you this. Don't ever play this game on any mind-altering situations. This game would definitely transport you to a bad place. Have a bad situation happen. This is crazy. Did he kick him and then he shot him? Yo. The demo's out now on Steam. Yeah, yo, it's crazy. All right, this joint is the boneless. All footage captured in real time. This is the time for horror. It has to be, because I've seen more horror games come across my timeline, and me looking at them and checking them out and seeing what's dope. The boneless looks kind of, all this stuff is creepy. I don't know what it's trying to invoke along this time of the year. I actually, you know, this is the time I start to put out the horror stuff in front of the house, and do some scary stuff. You know, is particularly we dress up. We do Halloween very heavy. That's something that I grew up on, and I guess because as a youth, we didn't have much resources. So when my mother did get me a Halloween costume, it was probably one of my best times. I probably cared more about Halloween than I did care about Christmas. If that's, to be said, that's crazy. And I guess that is because for that one day you get to be something other than yourself. And for me as a kid, I was able to dress up as my favorite superheroes, or comic book characters, or cartoon characters. So that within itself was a transformative to myself, and you've seen everybody else do the same. For that one day, you was allowed to be something different other than. And these horror games during this period of time is particularly creepy, because now we're peering into the minds of individuals that have the ability to bring forth games that are in the recess of their minds. And the Bornless looks insane. Steam is out here rocking it, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. So another great episode of Xbox Frontline News. We went through a lot today. We saw a lot today. And I'm going to always keep telling you this, right? The PlayStation 5 Pro is available in stores right now. Well, for pre-order. Go pre-order that. Stop hitting my comments and you don't own, or you're not really part of. All right? If you're a super fan of something, show me. There's absolutely no way that me, somebody that you call a bot, is running rings around you when it comes to owning tech, owning software, supporting a company that I berate on an average of 5 to 6 times a day. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know how we do. We're going to run it up on them bums. I'm 98% right. The PlayStation 5 Pro is your last console. Hey, you know what it is. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. Don't let this guy outdo you. So if you do not have a PlayStation 5, stop talking to me. You're on a PlayStation 4 Pro. You're over there. And if you have a PlayStation 5, I want to know why you don't have the Pro. Is it because you don't have the stuff to go around with it? I don't know. But what we can extrapolate from the outage and the advertisements, the update. So let me give you the timeline. There was an update. They gave you advertisements into your user interface on your PlayStation network, right? So it had been uploaded to the network. Got to your PlayStation 5 dashboard, which gave you advertisements that makes sense when you think about it. It showed you from that developer other games that was in line with the game that you're playing. Listen to this. Backlash happens. Everybody goes crazy. PlayStation Network goes down. Bugs is being fixed, is reported as a bug. That developer removes that tweet. It's no longer there. Why is that? Sony says nothing on why everything was outages, right? Slowly and surely it's coming back up. There is the bug fix. Those advertisements is not inside the user interface anymore. They're no longer advertising anything to you. You're no longer having this pushed upon you. Remember, I got to tell you, I salute you guys. I salute even Xbox guys that ridiculed the situation in order to exacerbate the situation on Twitter, that no one can turn a blind eye to what was happening. Remember, Xbox Frontline News was going live yesterday when the outages was happening. That was before I dropped the video about the ads. So just all started to come together, and we have to understand, as a collective, we have a voice. Even if we're on opposite sides, there's really no sides. If you're a gamer, you game totally. Now, I game on my phone all the time, but I'm also going to say this. Financial reasons dictate your restrictions. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's start to be more real with ourselves. The only reason why we segregate ourselves off of certain things is because we make excuses for reasons why the other platform isn't palatable to our taste, which is contrary to what you're hearing, because you hear the port begging ponies screaming, Xbox is giving us our games. But you didn't like Xbox games, right? So if you didn't like Xbox games, why are you asking for Xbox games to be on your platform? So I can only extrapolate from that one instance that you can't afford two ecosystems or multiple ecosystems. So therefore, you don't find the viability in doing so. And I can respect that. But let's be honest and let's call a spade a spade. Same thing for Xbox users. Oh, I will never own a PlayStation. I will never do this because I don't like this. You're making up reasons for why, but yet you do look over to their games and you are envious for those games over there, but you restrict yourself out of what reason? The same reason I said that the ponies do it. The same reason, economic reasons. You cannot afford two ecosystems. Game Pass is beating you. You can't have PlayStation Network beating you. So what you say, I'm going to pick my poison and choose one. Or maybe it's a time constraint and you don't have the ability or the bandwidth in order to support those many ecosystems, right? As a older gamer, mature gamer, I don't have the time to spread between playing Final Fantasy 16, Wukong, Halo, and this and that. I'm just in an advantageous position that I am also an influencer, content creator, and also the marketing manager over at Iron Lords Podcast. Remember, boys, Cog isn't my boss. He's my partner. We're an LLC, stupid. But I'm in this position that I turned my hobby, my love, into my business, my work. So through that, I'm able to gain more, and I'm also finding more reasons to indulge in my passion, i.e. my Twitch page. That's Lord King David at ILP, Lord King David ILP at Twitch, where I stream. I try to stream daily. Didn't get a chance to stream 2 days this week. I will do better tomorrow. Also, my son is off. We're going to be streaming. I'm going to allow him to stream with me. He wants to play some Mario Wonder because me and him have a save file over there. So I'm going to hook up the Mario Wonder to the caption device and, get that over there. But we saw what happened. We see the cover up. We are not falling for it. But at the end result is us as gamers, we win. And you can do nothing but respect that. You can respect us as gamers coming together and doing so. So with that being said, if this is your first time finding this channel, I do appreciate you showing up here. And if there's any way that I can actually be a better host to you, please drop a comment, hit a like, hit the notification button, and share it out. And also, if you want to become a member, please do so. We have a Discord for members. The members are going to be over there. I'm going to start giving away free games. I was giving away coins and food. I'm going to start dropping those food codes into the members Discord. you guys are going to get that free food. Once a week, I'm going to drop a different code in there for you guys to grab this free food, because there's $150 of free food in these economic hardship times that we're having at the moment right now. Free food and everything is always available and always welcome. Maybe you have somebody over at the house and you don't have the ability to have extra meals for everybody. Well, now you might have that ability to do so. If not for a week, at least for a couple of weeks. God bless. That's what I want to do. But I also was sending out coins. We had a problem with coins being taken out of the mail. I send them in priority mail packages, and they're supposed to get to you guys. Some guys didn't get it, some guys did. So now I'm going to be doing dropping free games for the winners inside the chats. I will go through and scroll and see what games is up for a fair price to get those games out to you, because members are the lifeblood of this channel. And as a member, I want you to feel special. I want you to feel welcome and invited. Videos drop daily. Friday is a community day where we go live. People jump into Discord, and whatever game we're playing that day, everybody has the ability to partake and enjoy. And if you don't have the ability to jump in, you have the ability to watch and participate that way. You can also jump into Discord and have the conversations with us. We're there having fun, and that's what this thing is all about. It's all about friends, family, and community, because this is the time of year where depression is the hardest, and especially on young to older men, where we feel the pressures a little bit more. Not saying women don't have pressures. I am saying that everyone has pressures around this time. So what I want to is give you an outlet that you can lean on the community. You can lean on me. I am my brother's keeper. I am Lord King David, and this is Xbox Frontline News. And I'm going to take that logo, and I'm going to throw that logo around Street Fighter with Terry Bogard. Boy, Terry's a beast. And if anybody jumps in there and beats the hell out of me with Terry, I'm going to kick you out of the room. But after I kick you out of the room, I'm going to yell out that famous line. Try to play the Game Pass.